Welcome to the Depths of Erendorn monthly development log for October 2022. We'll be looking through some of the work completed by each of the department over the last month. We'll take the time to summarise the efforts needed to create a brand new online RPG. Let's get into it. The 3D modelling team have started to work on the hairstyles for the many characters of Erendorn. Through previous devlogs, all the models have been created with no hair. This has been done to give the team the freedom to create some custom hair pieces for each character, with the possibility of multiple choices for players later down the line. The team would start using a new tool within the Blender program that can help them create these hair pieces. The team would create strands of hair that would be layered on top of each other to create the hairstyles, and with a little bit of experimentation, the initial hairpiece of Erendorn started to build up. The team got to grips with the tool throughout the month, which is evident as we go through the examples on the screen. Coming to the end of the month, the team were happy with the back of the first hairpiece, but will continue to work on it throughout the coming weeks, along with many more to come. The set piece design team have been powering through a long list of props needed for the cities of Erendorn. Creating a range of opulent props from vases to benches, the team has been using a higher poly count than usual to get as much detail as possible. Once these props are in the engine, the team will experiment with nanite to optimise the props that players will see. If this does not pan out as the team thinks, they will create lower poly models and bake the detail onto them. Either way, the models will preserve their elegant detail, with the latter of the techniques just taking a little bit more time. For the client-side team, the majority of the month has been dedicated to open-world combat, with numerous improvements being completed. The team would start by debugging and implementing the ability to join a fellow player's adventure during combat. Interactables are now coded into the game, along with the ability for the client to spawn, create, and alter the colours of many of the objects spawned. These interactables will make up the basis of the world events that will be present throughout Erendorn. With these interactable objects, dialogue is now implemented so NPCs can now interact with players and introduce quests and stories. Away from the open world, the team would implement dungeon lobbies so players can get together before they venture through the depths. A new tool has also been created that will allow the system to dynamically alter the area players can walk when events are spawned in. The open world has also been the focus for the server team throughout the month. Working on the combat, the team have implemented the ability to join combat, as well as a radius that will trigger a fight with an enemy. Once combat is complete, rewards are also now available to players. The team would also implement spawning groups within the overworld, giving the landscape a much needed feeling of being full and alive for players. To give players more to interact with, world events have been implemented to spawn and be playable throughout players' adventures. Improvements and fixes were also made to the dialogue system, memory issues and server startups. All these new additions and fixes push the team forward towards a new exciting build of the game. To start the month, the animation team were getting technical, working on inverse kinematics. When animating a walk cycle, the traditional method is to have the character walk on a flat surface. This makes the job of creating the cycle significantly easier for the animator, but when it comes to using this animation on the not so flat terrain of Erendorn, conflicts can arise. Using inverse kinematics, the team can ensure all the legs of the character stay above the ground. This will also compensate for uneven terrain while keeping the animation cycle moving, making for a much more realistic visual. The team would also work on implementing new animation for stunned characters. As we've seen in previous months, stunned animations will be good feedback to the player when an enemy, NPC or player is incapacitated. The team implemented the stun cycles for the zombie and small mammals throughout the month as they worked towards the next build. Finally, the team would work with some cloth physics for the capes throughout the latter part of the month. Experimentations such as these will be utilised with many characters and objects across Erendorn, and save the team precious time using physics instead of hand animation. The VFX team have been working on a range of character level 3 abilities throughout the month. Starting with some abilities for the Druid and the Paracore, the team utilised many aspects of each of their backgrounds. The Druid's abilities take inspiration from the forests they call home, utilising earthy colours and leaf motifs. In contrast, the Paracore's abilities combine rich purple with images of stars scattered throughout. The team would also work on abilities for the Twilight Elf Assassin and Human Knight throughout the month. The Elf Assassin has been given visual effects that correlate with its stealthy nature. The team utilised many deep colours such as reds and purples to allow the character to use their abilities while still being concealed by the shadows. In direct contrast, the abilities for the Human Knight have a warmer aesthetic of a character that is not afraid of a challenge. Both of these sets of abilities have been imported into the engine, ready for gameplay. The team have been out in the real world throughout the month, collecting primary resources that will be used throughout the world of Erendorn. Taking recording from the woodlands, the team will mix the audio for use within the game engine. This audio will be used in many different areas, most notably within the forests of the initial area. When a player is experiencing a forest in a video game, certain noises are to be expected, such as the wind in the trees and the birds tweeting. Using these primary clips, the team will ground our digital world and make it feel a lot more realistic. The environment team would start the month by creating some foliage for in-game events. The berry bushes they created will be used for random game events that players can find as they adventure throughout Erendorn. The team have created these hedges to stand out from the landscape, so they will be visible to players that are seeking them out. Once imported into the engine, these bushes will be combined with visual effects, making sure they are eye-catching enough for players to not miss them. Following the berry bushes into the engine, the team started work on the settlement and ruins within the initial area of Erendorn. When building up a world such as we are, it is integral to make places feel lived in and alive. The team implemented dirt paths into these areas to give this effect. The team would create these paths by fabricating a brush within the engine so paths could be painted into the world. This will also remove the grass and flowers that would naturally be removed as players walk over them. Finally, it was back to some more foliage for the team, taking the time to work on creeping ivy for the cliffs and dungeon walls of Erendorn. Although a work in progress, these vines will go a long way to breaking up the flat colour that will be used within the stone walls. This will also help the expansive cliff faces and dungeon walls of Erendorn not getting too repetitive. The team will continue to work on the ivy through the coming weeks as they approach the latest build of the game. The concept team would continue creating extravagant interiors for one of Erendorn's mighty palaces. Working on a banquet hall, bedroom and throne room, we begin to see the way that the elite spend their time within the world of Erendorn. With a banquet hall fit for any ruler, the team have conveyed that a palace such as this is a place where no expense is spared. Similar grandeur can be found in the throne room, where the ruler will take the time to listen to the subjects of their realm. Added details surround the throne, giving an imposing silhouette that encapsulates the ruler. Truly, the team have conveyed the message, fit for a king. That wraps up this video development log for October 2022. We hope you've enjoyed it. Much more work has been completed throughout the month that we could not fit into this summary. Following the link in the description will take you to the Depths of Erendorn website, where you can read about more of the work completed by developers. Also, for daily updates, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram and Reddit, or alternatively, join our Discord server. Have a good one, and we'll bring you more next month.